What's up, guys? Sergio here. So today we're going to be doing episode 5 in my training series, and we're going to be looking at back. So let's jump right in. So to start off my back day, I'm going to start off with 3 warm-up sets of lat pull down. And as I've stated before, when it comes to warming up, you can never do too many warm-up sets. But in this particular workout, I'm doing 3 warm-up sets, and that's going to get me ready for my workout. Now, your back is a pretty large muscle, so doing different types of exercises, whether standing or sitting or hanging, is going to have different effects. The first exercise I'm going to do are pull-ups. Now, when it comes to doing pull-ups, I like to do them weighted and then non-weighted. So the way that I'm going to break this up is I'm going to do 6 total sets of pull-ups. The first 2 sets I'm going to do just body weight, and then the next 3 sets I'm going to do weighted, and then the last set I'm going to do with body weight again. So just like doing the warm-up sets for the lat pull down, which allow me to avoid injury but also to have smoother working sets, it's kind of the same concept with doing the 2 sets of pull-ups with body weight before I do the weighted pull-ups. With the weighted pull-ups, I obviously can't do as many reps as I would do it without any body weight, but I still like doing the weighted ones because it just helps to increase my strength, but then also translates into me being able to do a little bit more reps when doing pull-ups. So after doing the weighted pull-ups, I'm going to move on to the seated cable row. And the seated cable row, there's 2 different variations that are actually pretty popular when doing this. The one variation of doing a seated cable row is where your upper body or your back doesn't move at all. And so basically you're just pulling the handles right to your navel and you're focusing on squeezing your shoulder blades. But the way that I like to do it is I like to do a compound row. And so with a compound row, it's not only is it working my lats and the muscles around my shoulder blades, but it's also working my spinal erectors as well. So the way that I do this exercise is I am leaning forward slightly, and then I'm leaning back, and then once I come to an upright position, then I'm going to pull the handles to my navel or to my stomach. So the big thing to remember when doing a seated cable row or a compound row, which is how I'm doing it, is that you want to make sure that you keep that back nice and straight. You never want to round that back, because once you round your back, you're going to put stress on your vertebrae and you're going to cause yourself a lot of pain. So you want to make sure that you keep that back nice and straight to avoid any kind of injury. After doing the seated cable row, I'm going to move on to the reverse grip lat pull down. It's just like the lat pull down that you guys saw in the beginning, but my hands are in reverse. So the big thing when doing reverse grip lat pull down is you want to make sure that you're getting that bar below your chin, or at least make sure that you're touching your chest. So it's really easy in a movement like this for your form to get bad. So you definitely want to make sure that you're able to maintain good form throughout the entire exercise. If your form does start to deteriorate, then you want to consider maybe dropping the weight. Another thing that is really common is when doing the lat pull down, reverse grip lat pull down, it's really easy to kind of sling your weight, and you really want to avoid from doing that. Now, there's nothing wrong with being slightly angled back when you're doing the exercise, but if you're really slinging your body weight back and forth, then the weight is probably too heavy and you need to lighten it. So a little bit of movement in between reps is okay, but you want to be careful to make sure that that doesn't get out of control. So after doing the reverse grip lat pull down, I'm going to move on to the hammer strength low row. And this is just a really great machine to target your lats and also hit like your mid to lower lats. I like it because it's chest supported, so it helps to protect your lower back and you don't have to worry about any kind of movement there. And then just the angle, it just really hits your lats at a really different angle. So this is a great exercise to do. I love doing the seated low row. You can also do it unilaterally, just one arm at a time. For me today, I'm doing both arms while with this movement, but you can easily do it one arm at a time and get really good benefits from that as well. The big thing I'll say with the hammer strength low row is just once again when watching your form, making sure that you're not getting jerky with the weight, but make sure that that chest maintains contact on the seat the entire time. The next exercise I'm going to do is the single arm cable row, and so this is kind of closely related to a single arm dumbbell row. I like doing the single arm cable row because it actually allows me to work my core a little bit more. And the way that I'm doing this is I'm actually keeping my legs together rather than have a stagger step, which is what you'll see a lot of times when you're doing a dumbbell row or even a cable row. By keeping my legs side by side, it actually causes me to use my core a little bit more to anchor myself. So this is a really great exercise for the lats. This one I would say targets like the middle to lower part of your lats. Really great exercise, good for the core, good for your lats as well. So after doing the single arm cable row, I'm going to move on to pull-ups, and this is just going to be one set. This is just kind of like a burnout set, or just to kind of completely fatigue my back. For this, I'm only going to be doing about 12 to 15 reps, and then after I do this one set of pull-ups, I'm going to do scap pull-ups. And so scap pull-ups are a little bit different because it's not a very big range of motion, because we're really just focusing on squeezing your scapula. So you're kind of doing like a scapular adduction, which all that means is you're basically just bringing your scapula together as you pull up. So it's a very limited range of motion, but like I said, I'm just targeting my scapula and just really trying to strengthen the muscles related to that. After the pull-ups and the scap pull-ups, I'm going to go to my last 3 exercises, and this is going to be a circuit. The first one is going to be a banded good morning, followed by a chest press machine, and then finishing off with a pec fly machine. And the reason for me actually doing these 2 chest exercises on a back day is the same reason why I do a little bit of extra bicep curls and tricep work and shoulder work on various days, just to build up weak muscle groups. So the banded good mornings really are just another way to take it to the next level. So good mornings by themselves are great. You don't need bands at all to get a good workout, but with the bands on there, you're going to have a little bit more tension as you're coming back to the upright position of this exercise. A couple cues for the banded good mornings is you want to make sure that back stays as flat as possible. It's actually good to have a slight arch in the back just to protect your lower back from rounding. Another thing is you want to make sure that you have a slight bend in your knees, but you don't bend your knees too much, because if you bend your knees too much, you're going to take the tension off of your spinal erectors, your glutes, and your hamstrings, which is the muscles that you're trying to target. So after the good mornings, I go right into the chest press machine, and I find the chest press machine to be great because at the end of a back workout, rather than do a free weight exercise where I might be prone to more injury because I'm tired, the chest press machine is great because it's stable and it just focuses on building my chest. So the last exercise I'm going to finish out with is the pec fly machine, and this is a great machine to really focus on shaping the muscle. So I would describe this as a muscle shaper, so something that's going to bring definition specifically to the cleavage area of the chest, to help give you more of a barreled chest, but also just to bring more definition to the center of the chest. So the big take home for this exercise is to make sure that you're not using too heavy of a weight. Because this exercise is more of a shaper, you want to focus on the movement and making sure that you can get a good squeeze in the chest, rather than using really heavy weight where you can't bring the handles all the way to the center. When the weight gets really heavy, what happens is you tend to put more focus on using your biceps rather than your chest. So make sure that the weight is relative to you getting good form and good range of motion. All right guys, well that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully you guys did like the video. If you guys did like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you guys have not subscribed to my channel yet, please go ahead and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.